Brian, thanks so much for being with us here on this beautiful day ahead of the big game. Now, I know ratings are expected to be sky high, 117 million viewers expected, but I think it's important to acknowledge that streaming is an increasingly important piece of your business. People are going to be able to watch the game on Peacock and various other places on mobile devices. And streaming is also a big piece of the media deals you just did. How important do you think that's going to be for viewership numbers?
Well, Julia, thanks for having me today. It's great to be here. I think streaming is extremely important. When we did our recent media deals, which we've talked about before, making sure that our partners had the rights to drive streaming was not only important for us, because essentially we're a sport based on reach. We want to reach as many people as we can, and clearly you need streaming to do that. But also we want our partners to actually be extremely successful as they shift their business. So Peacock is an example where it's obviously an emphasis of NBC Universal, and then being able to actually have our rights to push that is not only in our best interest, but their best interest.
So you have 3 sets of media rights deals that are up for grabs, including Sunday Ticket, which Disney CEO Bob Chapek said they were very much interested in securing. Where do those negotiations stand now, and how likely is it that a big tech company swoops in?
Well, we're having lots of conversations. You can imagine the quality of our content, the success we've enjoyed over the last few years. There's been lots of interest, both from traditional companies and tech companies. And it's not just about Sunday Ticket. We're looking for strategic partners for our owned and operated assets, which include the NFL Network and the Red Zone channel. We're talking about some pretty interesting partnerships with NFL Films, so we can increase the NFL Films presence on streaming platforms. We also have our mobile rights, which when we just redid our Verizon deal, we held back our mobile in-market game rights. So there's lots of rights that we actually have that we're thinking about long term. So just because we did our main deals doesn't mean we don't have a lot of work to do.
You know, one thing that's really been evident in the postseason has been just the quality of the play.
Yeah.
I think it was Rich Greenfield said the best commercial for the NFL these days is the NFL. And I wonder, is the league looking at how deep some of the coaching staffs have become and the way in which there's very little edge, you end up going into overtime a lot, and what that does to viewership?
Yeah, look, I think it all begins and ends with the product on the field. What I do in the media rights or what I do in the commercial deals, it doesn't matter if the product isn't good. And I think you've seen that on display this year. I mean, we've had some of the closest games we've ever had. The divisional round and the championship round of the playoffs were evidence of that, where the games were incredible, all of them. And it was our best regular season and postseason since 2015 in an era where fewer and fewer people are watching television. The fact that we're up that much is pretty significant. But again, it's the parity of the teams. Anybody could win on any given Sunday, and it's the fact that it's so competitive is where all of our strength is derived, in my opinion.
I'm curious how much you think the rise of sports betting has also driven ratings, and curious also what you plan to do going forward to further integrate sports betting into the viewing experience.
Yeah, I think sports betting long-term for us is really about increasing engagement. I mean, we have 190 million fans in this country. From a business standpoint, getting those 190 million people to watch one more game or watch one more week is a lot easier than growing 190 to 290 million. I think sports betting is going to be one of those ways we do that. As far as the short term, we have not seen a huge increase yet in ratings because of sports betting. But now we're at this inflection point where over half of the country now has access to sports betting. I think you might see that going forward.